Hi, I'm John Kursky, and welcome to DataOps 101, a better way to develop and deliver data analytics. If you're a project manager or just a member of a team who develops data analytics solutions, this is the session for you. Let's go over the agenda. In this session today, we'll cover the background to what DataOps is trying to solve, the concepts of DataOps and its history, why it matters to the project or projects you're working on today, and how it can help you with your current or future projects. So a little about me. I've been working with Power BI since 2015, delivering data analytics solutions to small, medium, and large businesses. And much of what I will cover today is from my perspective of delivering those solutions to customers. You'll also see on this slide that I'm a project management professional. And so when I cover certain topics about DataOps today, it will be from the perspective of the project manager. My contact information is provided, as well as links to my blog articles, and any code that I have written that are referenced in those articles are free to use under MIT license. So enough about me, let's dive in. So in order to get a better sense of what DataOps is, let me walk you through a scenario so you may understand what DataOps aims to avoid. Let me introduce you to two characters. This good-looking fella is Alex, the boss. Alex is looking to deliver value to the executives. He scoffs when you tell him it will take 2 weeks to build a report and believes that integrating data from the company's multiple data sources will be insightful to improving the company's performance. And this fella, who bears no resemblance to Alex, is Bob, the data analyst. Now, Bob is an ambitious team lead who supervises a few team members. Bob has been using Power BI for the better part of 6 months, and based on Alex's vision, used Power BI to build what he called the executive dashboard. It combines multiple sources of data like SharePoint and SQL. He did it in 2 weeks, and Alex started showing it to the executives, and now they want to leverage it daily. All right, now with the stage set, let's look at how this scenario might play out. Good morning, Bob. The new dashboard's going over well with the executives. Like I said, you could get it done in 2 weeks. You and your team did a good job. Thanks. Power BI is such a great tool. I'm glad the executives are happy with it. All right, gotta run to my next meeting. I'll talk to you later. Bob, I just got a call. The execs are in a meeting and the slicer doesn't show all the options like it did yesterday. Can you fix it ASAP? I'm on it. Thanks for saving the day, superhero. Hey, Bob. Charlie in accounting called, and the tables in the executive dashboard don't add up correctly now. Did something happen? Oh man, just published that change this morning. I'm gonna have to roll it back. Let's get that fixed today. Now, which one is the right version? Ugh, this is not gonna be fun. Hey, Bob. I got a call from the VP. She says the KPI card looks wrong. All right, let me fix it real quick. Let's not have any more issues today. It took you 2 hours yesterday to fix that issue. All right, Bob, time to be the hero again. Wait, who applied that filter in Power Query? Oh, they must have left that in. I wish there was a better way to test for this. Hey, Bob. Accounting called again. One of the tables in the dashboard is showing a new column. Did you do that? No. Let me check. The executives were so happy earlier in the week, but they're really losing confidence. It started out so promising. Oh man, how did this happen? The SharePoint admin must have added a new column. I'll just hide it. I'll start fresh Monday. All right, let's start strong. Bob, another issue. Oh no. Denise called. The dashboard looks like it's only got the data from last Friday. Fix it quick. We got another brief in 10 minutes. Okay, I'll fix it. Let me just check the data set in the service. Oh, wait. How did the scheduled refresh get disabled? Bob, this dashboard's full of issues. I just got another call from the execs. Take it offline. We're going to regroup this afternoon. What am I going to do? Now, this scenario may be a dramatization, but could you relate? Have your colleagues mentioned having a similar experience? Tools like Power BI have revolutionized the way we deliver data analytics solutions. But while it makes it faster to build visuals, reports, and dashboards, it has introduced a gap in knowledge for addressing the risks and issues with any data analytics projects. So let's take a look at those risks and issues. From a project management perspective, a risk is something that could happen, and an issue is a risk that has happened as well as its impact. With that in mind, in this industry, it has become commonplace to view data as a strategic asset to a company's mission. However, we have some risks. Demand is high. There is such a great need to use data to get a competitive advantage or accelerate capabilities. This demand can put a strain on teams to deliver and continue to deliver at a swift pace. Complex data lineage. Often the journey of the data crosses multiple teams with different skills and even different bosses or objectives. This complexity can lead to the pipelines that feed your Power BI report to be fragile, and often changes upstream may not be properly communicated to downstream consumers like you. I've worked for several large organizations, and this risk always has a high likelihood simply due to the scale of data operations, separation of duties, and the diversity in the systems that produce the data you need. Data quality issues. So I have no doubt that if you have built a Power BI report using data sources you didn't maintain yourself, issues crop up like missing data, or invalid data like dates that shouldn't be in the future, or free text fields that should have been a drop-down or field that controlled input, or duplicate data when it should be unique, or schema changes. If you rely on an Excel spreadsheet and had someone change the columns, you know what I'm talking about. As a member of a data analytics project, these risks are an ever-looming cloud on the horizon and often can lead to issues like defects and errors. If left unchecked, defects and errors cause mistrust, which then means you often have to manually check for issues, which then leads you to deliver slower because you need to manually check for issues. When you spend more time manually babysitting existing Power BI reports, your team has less time to build new features or new reports. This can then also lead to more costs because time is money. You either need more staff or more time to maintain existing solutions, or you need more staff or more time to build new solutions as the existing staff are already at capacity. Ultimately, all these issues can lead to disappointment. If you don't provide insights at the speed of relevancy, then customers can't trust you. This leads to you being unhappy, the team's burnt out, and low morale. So these are the risks and issues we all face in the industry. I myself remember 3-month stretches where I drank way too much soda, my project teams were stressed, and I was looking for a better way to deliver data analytics solutions using the existing data platforms we had, including Power BI. That's where DataOps comes in. Several years ago, a gentleman named Chris Berg and his co-founder had similar experiences and wrote the DataOps Manifesto. DataOps is geared towards data scientists, engineers, and analysts who build data models and visualizations. So what is DataOps exactly? DataOps is a set of technical practices, cultural norms, and architecture that guide teams towards increasing the quality of their data analytics solutions while decreasing the time it takes to deliver those solutions. It consists of three major industry concepts. DevOps. More specifically, DataOps embraces continuous integration and continuous deployment, and the importance of cooperation between those who develop and those who manage operations. Agile. DataOps also taps into agile concepts by emphasizing self-organizing teams, short sprints, and delivering value quickly to customers. Lean manufacturing. Thirdly, DataOps stresses lean manufacturing ideas by simplifying and standardizing processes and increasing automation. DataOps' inclusion of lean also promotes treating data and its transformations as a product on a manufacturing line. Like a real-life manufacturing line, DataOps highlights the need to monitor data quality in every step of the data's transformation. All these concepts are packaged into the DataOps Manifesto, which eloquently defines the areas of emphasis and principles that should guide a data analytics project team. So looking at DataOps, how does it address the risks and issues I mentioned earlier? If you incorporate DataOps, and more specifically its principles, then you can mitigate many of the errors showing up in your solutions, track how you are improving in delivery, be able to empirically show how you deliver solutions, which puts you in a better situation with leadership, and more proactively address issues, which builds trust with customers. So at this point, you might be asking yourself, John, this is a lovely high-level speech, but how can I practically apply these concepts to help my team and I? Well, DataOps has 18 principles, but I believe if you take 5 of the principles I'll present in this session and incorporate into your project, you can improve your project delivery. Let's take a look at those 5. The first principle is make it reproducible. Reproducible results are required, and therefore we version everything. Data, low-level hardware, and software configurations, and the code and configuration specific to each tool in the tool chain. So practically, if your team is not using it today, learn the version control tool Git. Also, there is an excellent tool known as PBI Tools that makes it easier to track changes to Power BI files incorporated with Git. Now I admit, as of early 2023, Power BI does not make it easy to do version control. But I have resources at the end of this presentation to help. The bottom line is, this principle emphasizes version control. The second principle is quality is paramount. Analytic pipelines should be built with a foundation capable of automated detection of abnormalities and security issues in code, configuration, and data, and should provide continuous feedback to operators for error avoidance. So what does this mean exactly? Well, when you find an error, build a test. If you don't already leverage tools like DAX Studio, Tabular Editor, or Selenium, please write and build tests for both your Power BI data model and Power BI report. The goal is to never be surprised by the same error again in production. This principle also means that tests serve as a safety net. When you build a suite of tests, you have the ability to give new team members the safety net. Just think, if you're new to a project and you were asked to update a dataset or store procedure and had some way to make sure it didn't introduce an issue that happened before, wouldn't you feel better? Now, testing is easier said than done in Power BI, but in the resources section of this presentation, I provide you some techniques to get started. The third principle is orchestrate. The beginning to end orchestration of data, tools, code, environments, and the analytic team's work is a key driver of analytic success. So to me, orchestration means your project should have continuous integration. If you have version control, then you can integrate changes automatically and move to testing automatically. Orchestration also means having continuous deployment. If you have continuous integration, you can automatically deploy solutions to production, like a production Power BI workspace. Then all of a sudden, you are delivering quicker. Orchestration also means emphasizing scripts over clicks. If you're using the Azure Portal, Power BI Service, Report Server, you can script the creation of updates. You may need to learn Azure CLI or PowerShell or Power Automate, but manually clicking a setup of an environment or changes introduces a chance for error. Clicks require you to take screenshots and build documentation. And in our cloud-based world, interfaces change. I still find old sky blue Azure Portal screenshots on Microsoft documentation, but the Azure CLI commands stay pretty consistent. So save yourself having to retake screenshots and build scripts instead. Now, this is a good time to point out orchestration happens twice. On the slide, I've tried to illustrate that. The first orchestration happens when you build the data pipelines and bring the value in the form of models, a data warehouse, or Delta Lakes. This could be done in Azure Data Factory, Power Query, or some other tool. The second orchestration happens in the form of data analytics. This is when you build the visuals and/or dashboards consumed by your customers. To reiterate, let's give you another example. The first orchestrate could be the testing and deployment of Azure Synapse pipelines that build a set of dimensions and facts tables. Now that you have that data, the second part of orchestrate is that you need to isolate some parts of that data to build the complicated DAX that calculates financial metrics for a Power BI dashboard. You're not testing the data now, but rather the DAX code to make sure it's calculating as expected. We are also testing to make sure the Power BI slicers or filters are behaving as expected and testing to make sure your Power BI product meets accessibility standards. Orchestration leads to huge time savings by eliminating manual steps, so you and your team can focus on building more impactful data models and visuals. All right, we've covered 3 principles. We've got 2 more to go. The fourth principle is monitor quality and performance. Our goal is to have performance, security, and quality measures that are monitored continuously to detect unexpected variation and generate operational statistics. From the lean manufacturing world, this is known as statistical process control. If a column of data used in a report was 10% empty, but jumps to 15% overnight, you'd want to know, right? So in my own terms, this principle means catch the errors before your customers do. The most impactful moments I have had with client leadership is when I came to them telling them our monitoring identified that a problem occurred, we are fixing it, and we've notified the impacted community. This builds trust. This also means, as a project team, you need to practice what you build. We provide services with data, often around performance management. Our customers use it to monitor quality and performance. Your team should be no different in that way. This fifth and final principle is reduce heroism. As the pace and breadth of the need for analytic insights ever increases, we believe analytic teams should strive to reduce heroism and create sustainable and scalable data analytic teams and processes. Reduce heroism, to me, means avoid burnout. Many of you watching this have had burnout. I know I have, and I have team members who have. Burnout is when you have exhaustion, feeling drained or emotionally exhausted, and don't have enough energy to tackle tasks. Burnout leads to alienation from work-related activities. People with burnout may start being cynical about their working conditions and their colleagues. At the same time, they may increasingly distance themselves emotionally and start feeling numb about their work. Burnout also reduces performance. It affects everyday tasks at work, at home, or when caring for family members. People with burnout are very negative about their tasks and find it hard to concentrate. DataOps emphasizes that it does not want you or your team to have to constantly swoop in to fix issues manually. When you're the hero, you become overwhelmed, you don't get to work on cool new things, and you put your coworkers and clients in a bad position to easily support solutions. Ultimately, as the hero, you become frustrated and you end up looking for a new job, or your coworkers end up looking for a new job. All right, let's recap. By following these 5 principles, you can start building better solutions. When you apply the principle of make it reproducible, you learn to use version control with Git. By applying quality is paramount, you are building tests to avoid errors you've encountered. Using orchestration, you've implemented continuous integration and continuous deployment to reduce manual steps and reduce time to deliver solutions. With monitor quality and performance, you are proactively addressing issues and notifying clients so that you can build more trust. And last, but certainly not least, by reducing heroism, your team avoids burnout, and maybe you can take a vacation for once. And if you're following these 5 principles, well done. You're on your way to delivering better data analytics solutions. Now, as promised, let's go over the resources. In general, please read the DataOps Cookbook and watch Chris Berg's video on DataOps. You've listened to me talk about DataOps. Why not also read and watch about DataOps from the founder's perspective? For version control, I've provided a tutorial for using GitHub Desktop, a wonderful tool for getting started with Git. I also have a link here to PBI Tools. This is a great tool that will help provide version control for Power BI products, and I recommend going to this site and watching the video tutorials. For testing and orchestration, I have another video that walks through a free template to get started. I also provide instructions on how to do some visual testing with Power BI with the help of PBI Tools. And for monitoring, I offer instructions to use a free template that will help you monitor your Power BI workspaces for common issues. Thank you for watching this session today. I hope you found it useful. My contact information is on the screen should you have any questions later. Thank you for your time, and good luck on your next project.